It was late spring when Ryan and Melissa Parker moved into Willow Creek Estates, a quiet, well-maintained HOA community nestled between rolling hills and thick clusters of maple trees. The brochure described it as a peaceful haven for families who seek privacy, safety, and charm. The couple, expecting their first child, thought they had found the perfect place. The neighbors were polite, the streets pristine, and every lawn manicured to perfection under the strict HOA guidelines. But something felt odd. The old man across the street, Mr. Grantham, watched them too closely. Mrs. Ellsworth from house number 9 peered through her blinds every time they stepped outside. Even the HOA president, Richard Voss, seemed overly interested in their daily routine. The first official HOA meeting was held just 2 weeks after their arrival. "It's important to keep the spirit of Willow Creek intact," Voss had said, his thin smile never reaching his cold gray eyes. "Newcomers like you bring fresh energy. But remember, our rules preserve our sanctuary. No exceptions." Ryan smiled and nodded politely, but Melissa felt uneasy. She whispered that night, "They're hiding something, Ryan. This place isn't normal." Then the odd things began. One evening, Ryan noticed that the garden gnome near their porch had shifted 6 inches to the left. Neither he nor Melissa had touched it. The next morning, their mailbox stood open, though the postman swore he had closed it. And every night, faint whispers echoed from the vents, soft, unintelligible murmurs that rose and fell like distant chanting. Melissa couldn't sleep. She started leaving night lights in every room. Shadows stretched long and thin on the walls, moving in ways light never should. "Maybe it's the pregnancy," Ryan said gently. "You're stressed." But Ryan himself heard the tapping at 3 a.m., a faint knock-knock-knock at their back door. When he checked, there was no one there. Only damp footprints leading toward the old storm drain behind the HOA clubhouse. That's when they met Sarah Klein. Sarah, a single mother from the next street, cornered Melissa at the local bakery. "Get out," Sarah whispered. "Leave before they make you part of this place. Before you can't leave. Before the HOA binds you like it did the rest of us." Melissa gasped. "What do you mean?" Sarah glanced nervously out the window. "At night they meet. The board members. The HOA council. They go into the clubhouse basement, the one they claim doesn't exist. You can hear them if you walk by at 2 a.m. Chanting, whispers, and people change after those meetings. Smiling too much, eyes too bright." Ryan thought Sarah was delusional until he saw Mr. Grantham digging in his backyard under the moonlight, murmuring words in a language Ryan couldn't recognize. His eyes were black, deep and shining like wet stones. The next day, the HOA issued a citation. Violation. Unauthorized observation of fellow residents. Fine. $500. That's when they realized they were being watched. Desperate, Ryan and Melissa decided to investigate the clubhouse basement. At 1:45 a.m., under a thin moon, they crept toward the clubhouse. The air smelled of rotting earth. Ryan tried the door. It was unlocked. Inside, everything was spotless until they reached the basement door hidden behind a wall panel. A faint humming noise leaked from the crack beneath it. Ryan pushed gently. The door groaned open. The basement was lined with shelves full of old books, jars of strange powders, and artifacts that gleamed in the faint light. And in the center, a stone altar, covered in strange symbols. On the altar lay a ledger. Melissa opened it. Names. Hundreds of names. Every resident of Willow Creek, listed by move-in date and expiration date. But the worst part, their own names were at the bottom. Ryan and Melissa Parker, arrival, May 3rd, 2025. Expiration, July 17th, 2025. 2 months left. Melissa gasped. Ryan flipped pages. They found Sarah Klein's name, expiration date crossed out and replaced with integrated. A shadow shifted behind them. "Looking for something, Mr. Parker?" It was Voss. His smile was wider than humanly possible. His eyes glowed faintly in the dark. "You shouldn't have come here." Melissa screamed as Voss stepped closer. His figure flickered in the dim light, once human, then something else, something older. Shadowy. A shape that shifted and stretched unnaturally. Ryan grabbed the ledger, yanking Melissa's hand. They bolted past Voss, up the basement stairs. But the door was gone. Just smooth, seamless wall. Now, Voss crooned behind them. Why leave the party so soon? The HOA welcomes all its members forever. The walls rippled like water. Whispers filled the air, words twisting in their minds. Join us.
Stay.
Integrate. Melissa clutched her belly, gasping. Ryan, the baby. Voss smiled wider. New life. So rare. The community will flourish. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed. The wall near the furnace burst open. Sarah Klein emerged, holding an iron rod. Come with me. Now, she shouted. She slammed the rod into the wall, opening a jagged hole. I told you they trap new families, but there's a way out. They scrambled through the gap, into old service tunnels winding beneath the neighborhood. Sarah ran ahead, leading them past crumbling bricks and old pipes. You must leave before sunrise, she panted. After that, you become part of Willow Creek. Mind, soul, body. But what is this place? What's wrong with the HOA? Ryan demanded. She glanced back, eyes hollow. They serve an ancient thing beneath this land. Before the HOA, before the town, something was buried here. It feeds on families. The HOA board made a deal decades ago to protect themselves. In exchange, they give it newcomers. A distant, inhuman roar shook the tunnels. It's awake, Sarah whispered. It knows you tried to escape. They burst from a manhole behind the clubhouse. But waiting for them was Voss and the rest of the HOA council. Their faces stretched, shifting, mouths widening impossibly, eyes glowing yellow. Come home, Ryan. Melissa. The community accepts you, Voss murmured. Ryan gripped the iron rod Sarah gave him. Get back. But Voss only laughed. You can't harm us. We are the Covenant. Then Sarah tossed Melissa a small glass vial. Break it, she screamed. It's the seal. Break it, and the pact ends. Melissa hesitated. Her baby kicked hard in her belly. She threw the vial to the ground. The earth trembled. Cracks split the ground. The sky above the HOA clubhouse darkened unnaturally as black smoke poured from the cracks. Voss screamed, his form melting, unraveling like fabric pulled apart. The council wailed, their bodies dissolving into dust. The clubhouse collapsed into the earth. Silence. Sarah smiled, eyes wet. It's over. You're free. The curse is broken. The sun rose over Willow Creek for the first time in years without shadows stretching where they shouldn't. As Ryan and Melissa drove away, forever, the for sale sign at the entrance to Willow Creek Estates fell, crumbling to ash.